Well, it's that time of the year again. It's time for transfer rumours to flow. Of course, we've already had one transfer rumour for Langstaff to come to Wrexham, but I think that was more speculation rather than anything else. I don't think that was particularly realistic. But we've had some information come through via Rob Ryan read that Wrexham are interested in 3 players released by Wigan earlier today, and those 3 are Stephen Humphrys, Josh Magennis and Tom Pearce. We do know that Wrexham have been interested in Stephen Humphrys the last 2 transfer windows and haven't been able to get hold of him, and obviously now Wigan are doing a bit of cost cutting and a bit of restructuring ready for next season, and they've let him go along with several other players. These 3 players all won the league title with Wigan back in 2021, 2022, so highly experienced players. Stephen Humphrys and Josh Magennis, both strikers. Could be the case that Wrexham are looking to give ourselves more options in attack, because I think we probably are relying a little bit too much on Mullen, or necessarily perhaps we're looking for someone to complement Mullen, because I think Mullen of course works best when he's with Palmer, and he probably looks like we need someone to either be a long-term replacement for Palmer or to lessen the load to a certain extent. Pearce is more of a left-back, so it could be the case that Wrexham are looking to an upgrade on Mendy, or thinking of having McLean in midfield just as often as he would be with left wing-back. Pearce, a very experienced left-back. He's spent 5 years at Wigan, during that time, several seasons in League One, and won the championship. I think he has had some injury issues, so that is a bit of a concern. But if Parkinson signs him, I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing is, with the likes of Josh Magennis and Stephen Humphrys, they don't have a great goal scoring record. Josh Magennis does have pretty good leadership qualities. He was Wigan's captain and led quite a young Wigan side through a bit of a difficult period off the pitch, so that could be quite useful to have such an experienced player. To having such an experienced player help us, obviously, because we've lost young Antoza. Well, that's a lot of experience lost in the team. Not necessarily he could come in straight away and be captain for Wrexham. That's probably a bit unlikely. I think he'd probably stick with Mullen, McLean, and maybe one other, maybe George Evans perhaps. Well, we'll see about that. And I think that would all three be good signings. Probably. So I don't really have any reason to doubt Parkinson. I think he's made mostly good signings. The only duff one perhaps has been Waters over the last 2-3 seasons. He's got a pretty good record at the club. I wouldn't be too concerned if he signed these players. Maybe one of Humphrys or Magennis to give more options. That does raise the question, what happens to the likes of Dalby, and maybe this is a little bit dependent on what happens with Fletcher. If he signs, we're going to have several strikers read in the books. We're going to have Mullen, Palmer, Dalby, Fletcher, Waters. I don't expect Waters to actually play for Wrexham League One. I suspect he'll go out on loan somewhere for the season, and that'll be it for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens to Dalby. I think just those 2 players probably not going to be good enough for League One. Dalby is quite young, so maybe if you go somewhere on loan for a season and just show promise, maybe you could try him out at a later date, but that's another matter altogether. The other issue, the other rumour was perhaps Okonkwo. Wrexham are keen to keep him, and I'd be delighted if Wrexham were able to keep hold of Okonkwo. I think it's going to be a tough ask. We've got League One sides, Championship sides are particularly interested in him, but perhaps would he prefer to be a number 1 at Wrexham rather than being a number 2 or number 3 at a Championship side? Maybe that's what we can offer him, compared to they'll be certainly offering him a higher wage if he went to Championship side. If I was Wrexham, I'd probably looking at a good release clause for him to keep him, to maybe sweeten the deal for him. So if he does play well for us and a big club comes for him, it makes it easier for both clubs. But that'd be interesting to see. What do you think of those 3 players that Wrexham have been linked with earlier today? Do you think we can keep Okonkwo? Let me know in the comments. Obviously, of course, please subscribe and chat later. Thanks. Bye.